for scientists or scientific development. And we see sales. That means number 2 is right here. Before that, in the top of the paragraph, we see bark and growing and thickness, right? That means that this is where number 1 is. So as you can see, it goes in order, right? It goes in order. All right, that's number 1. Oh, this is bad handwriting. That's number 2. That's number 3, right? 1, 2, 3. It goes in order. All right. Now, in number 4 is talking about the bark being stripped. The bark being stripped in number 4. That means that number 4 is right here where it says if the bark is stripped. Right? That's where we have number 4. Right? And then for our last one we're talking about number 5. Only way to remove the bark is by hand. Right? So here we're talking about stripping the bark. That's the same as removing the bark. Okay? That means that number 5 is right here. Here's another one of my bad number 5s. Okay. All right, but if you see a true, false, not given question goes in order. Number 1, right? Number 2, number 3, number 4, and after that is number 5. Okay, it's about being able to go in order and find the information. Amir, can I make you the presenter? No, I cannot make you the presenter, Amir. Why do you want to be the presenter? If you can you explain your question, Amir, why you want to be the presenter? I don't understand what you want in terms of being the presenter. I can't really. I need to answer. I need to know more about your question. Rahul, I'm not sure why you can't hear. If everybody else can hear me and you can't hear me, that probably means there's an issue with your computer or your computer settings or your sound on your computer. I don't know. All right, so let's go through this and try to go through answering these different questions. All right, so here is number 1, right? You look on the screen here. What I did for everybody is I separated the paragraph where the language is located and the question. All right, just so you can see them both together. All right, if we're looking at number 1, right, it says, and the cork oak itself, it says, its bark grows up to, is the exam pass? It's paper, right? On your exam, it's paper. Okay, I'm showing you everything on the computer, of course. I can't show you on paper because we're not in the actual physical classroom, but it's all on paper, okay? So on your exam, you have the reading passage and then you have the questions. It's all in like a booklet, and you have to turn back and forth between the pages. Okay, but go ahead and look at number 1. Look at number 1 and look at number 2, and see if you are able to answer number 1 and number 2. Okay, and then I'll go through why the question is what it is. The answer is what it is. All right, you don't have to write your answer, okay? Just write your answer on your own paper. And if you have a question about why you got it wrong, then I will go over that with you. All right, so number one is, of course, not given. All right, not given. Did anybody get anything different? Did anybody get a different answer? No, everybody got not given? That's great. All right, I'll go over it, of course. Question says, the cork oak has the thickest bark of any living tree. Look at your keyword sentence. Its bark grows up to 20 centimeters in thickness, insulating the tree like a coat wrapped around the trunk and branches and keeping the inside at a constant 20 degrees Celsius all year round. When we look at the sentence, does it say that it's the thickest of any living tree? Do we see any comparison to another tree? We don't see that, right? This information in the question about comparing it to another tree or being the thickest, we don't see that information in our keyword sentence. That means the answer is not given, right? That's what not given means. The information in the sentence we don't see in the passage sentence. That's what it means to be not given. Right now, look at our next sentence, right? It says, scientists have developed a synthetic cork with the same cellular structure as natural cork. Whenever I see language like same or different or similar or only, that language is always language they love to use to make something true or false or not given, right? So when I look at this question, the first thing that jumps out is that language same. Is it the same between synthetic and natural? Now, our sentence says, developed most probably as a defense against forest fires, the bark of the cork oak has a particular cellular structure with about 40 million cells per cubic centimeter that technology has never succeeded in replicating. So when you look at this sentence, it says what? Not the same. Technology has never replicated, right? Technology has never replicated it. That means it's not the same. That means you should have an answer of false, right? You see how it's different. It's changed. It's opposite. The question says it's the same. The passage says it's what? Not the same. Okay? The answer is not given because it says something different. It says something opposite. All right? Question 3 and 4. Individual cork trees must be left for 25 years between the first and second harvest. From the planting of a cork sapling to the first harvest, who is this asking to be the presenter? Why are you asking to be the presenter? For what reason? All right, I can't. No, I'm sorry. I can't. Number 2 is false. Yes. I'm sorry. Somebody's asking me to be the presenter, and I don't understand why. I'm presenting, but I don't know why this other. Okay. Individual cork trees must be left for 25 years between the first and second harvest. From the planting of a cork sapling to the first harvest takes 25 years, and a gap of approximately a decade must separate harvest. So, number 3 is what? What's the answer to number 3? Does anybody have number 3? All right, good job. Number 3 is false, right? Because our question says there must be 25 years between the first and second, and our sentence says what? It has to be a decade, right? So they're testing your English. Do you know that a decade means 10 years? right? Here it says the gap is 10 years. Question says gap is 25 years. Okay? Some people will say, well, the sentence says 25 years, the question says 25 years. I'm going to put true. No, you have to understand the sentence. Number 4, cork bark should be stripped in dry atmospheric conditions. If the bark is stripped on a day when it's too cold or when the air is too damp, the tree will be damaged. What about number 4? What's the answer to number 4? Right? Answer number 4 is true. The question says it should be stripped in dry conditions. If the bark is stripped on a day when it's too cold or when it's damp, it will be damaged. Right? So it can't be when it's damp. That means that it has to be dry. That means this answer is true. Right? This answer is true. The information in number 4 is true. Does it have to be dry? Yes, because the sentence says it can't be damp. If it can't be damp, it has to be dry. Right? When you're doing true, false, not given questions, you are comparing sentences. You're not reading a whole passage and then reading a whole paragraph and then deciding, is this information true or not? If you notice, I'm comparing two sentences. I'm comparing a sentence from the passage with a sentence with the question itself. Okay? That's what I am comparing. And that's what you have to do. And when you're talking about time management, if you are unnecessarily reading whole paragraphs, you are wasting time. Number 5, the only way to remove the bark from cork oak trees is by hand. Right? It says cork harvesting is very specialized profession. No mechanical means of stripping cork has been invented. So the job is done by teams of highly skilled workers. So again, this information is what for number 5? Anybody? Right, good. Number 5 is true. Number 5 is of course true. Because it says the only way is to do it by hand. Our sentence says there's no mechanical way. If there's no mechanical way, that means the other way it has to be done by humans, by human beings. Right? The stripping is done by human beings. We're not stripping it with our feet. We're not stripping it with our mouth. Right? The only logical way to strip it is with our hands. Some people might say it doesn't say hands. Well, there's some logic involved, okay? Right, so the answers you should have are not given. Number 2 is false. Number 3 is false. Number 4 is true. Number 5 is true. True, false, not given questions are not difficult if you are comparing sentences and you understand what true means and what false means and what not given means. You can manage this type of question. Right? Before I move on to the next type, does anybody have any questions about true, false, not given? Any questions about what we just did or just went through? Your time management is very fast if you're able to spot keywords, scan, not read, scan and locate the keyword sentence, and then compare those sentences, the sentence to the passage. Right? Compare the passage sentence to the question. And then understanding true, false, and not given, the meaning of it. All right. In terms of our next question type that we have with this one, we have a fill the blank question, right? So 6, 7, and 8 are dealing with aluminum screw caps. That's very specific, right? That's very specific to find. All right. And the next one's dealing with advantages of cork bottle stoppers. Okay. So 6, 7, and 8 are with this area. 9 through 13 are with the other area. So remember, these questions go in order. For question 1, I scanned the first sentence of the paragraph. When you're scanning, remember, there's a difference between reading and scanning, right? When I'm scanning, I'm not reading the sentence. I'm actually just looking for the number 25, right? I'm looking for the number 25. I'm jumping through sentences. I can jump, you can jump through a paragraph in 10 seconds if you're just saying, does that paragraph have the number 25 years? Right? That's what scanning is. There's a big difference between scanning and reading, right? Scanning is not going, scanning also, you have to understand scanning. Scanning doesn't necessarily mean going left to right. You can scan right to left like you're reading Arabic. It doesn't matter, right? Because you're looking for specific language. You're not trying to read sentences. So your scanning skill has to get better so you can do it well. All right, let's look. All right, now let me say this. For questions 1 through 5, we use the second paragraph, we use the third, fourth paragraph, right? When I'm looking at for the answer to the next questions, the first place I'm going to look is in the information in the paragraphs we have not used yet, right? That's the first place I'm going to look. The information in the paragraphs that we have not used before. Somebody just told me they can't hear me. Is anybody else having a problem hearing me? If you can hear me, please let me know you can hear me, and I know it's not my problem. Okay. If you can hear me, then okay. All right, good. So right here on the right-hand side, you can see right here, they're talking about aluminum screw caps right here. Right, aluminum screw caps. That means this is where my information for numbers 6, 7, and 8 are located. Right, this is where my information for 6, 7, and 8 are located, in this area. That means that numbers 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 have to be in this next paragraph. Right? They have to be in this next paragraph. They have to. It can't be anywhere else because fill the blank questions go in order. Right? So I've separated this out so that we can take a look at it. So let's look at this paragraph. This is where numbers 6, 7, 8, and 9 are coming from. I mean, numbers 6, 7, 8 are coming from. And on your own, go ahead and answer numbers 6, 7, and 8. Don't just answer it on your own paper. Don't necessarily type it right now. I don't want you to type your answers and so other people can see it right now, please. Because I want to give everybody an opportunity to answer on your own. If you type your answer, then you're telling somebody else what the answer is. I want everybody to have an opportunity to answer on their own, please.